All right. Hey guys. I've been away for a couple weeks, a few weeks actually, and I had an awesome coaching session last week that has helped me get back on track. So what I'm going to do instead of committing right now to coming on every night, what I'm going to do is almost like a talk show, not almost like a talk show, uh, and come on and just take calls, so to speak. So what I really dialed in was that my format for now, what I should try is to do a talk show. So I'm gonna make myself available for the next hour. It's 10:02 Pacific, and I'm gonna get off at 11 p.m. Pacific as well, and I'm going to work on doing that. I'm going to do that for the next 5 days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then what I'll do after that, and this is the part that I got help with, was uh, commit to another week. And if I just keep committing every Saturday or Sunday, you end up with months and years of a show, right? But what helps is to chunk it out so that you aren't looking at this overwhelming goal. What you're doing is you're telling yourself, "Hey, uh, I can do it for just one day." There's this great story that Steve Chandler tells, and he says when he got into Alcoholics Anonymous, he asked, "Am I supposed to like never drink again?" And they said, "No, just for today." So the idea of no, just for today, what I'm doing is no, just for 1 week. And then we'll revisit the question in a week. And what that does to your brain, I don't know the science behind it, but what it does is is it it shrinks the amount of the commitment, and you may not be able to commit to a whole month or a whole year of doing something, right? And a clue that happens is that you'll do what I did, which is you'll distract yourself, right? You'll find some other thing to distract yourself or to make yourself late. So what I did was actually sat down here like 10 minutes before, right? What are all the things you can do to make that action happen? If you slow down and look at um, how you are either distracting yourself or how you're filling in the space with other activities so that you'll end up being late to the original thing that you committed to doing. So for example, you'll start stuffing a bunch of activities. You'll say, I'm gonna do the laundry today. I'm gonna get a haircut today. I'm gonna wash my car today. When what you could do, the same way that you go into a doctor's office or a dentist's office, is you go into the waiting room. So you sit in the waiting room and you just wait. So that's what I did. I came here at about 10 minutes before and sat down. Uh, so again, I'm available for anybody if they need help creating, brainstorming, figuring some things out. Go ahead and uh, post some post a note in the chat, and what I can do, or in the comments, and then what I can do is I can send you the link where you can get on with me on I'm using StreamYard. So either just post it in the text in the comments, or yeah, that's probably the easiest thing for now. So so again, what I'm doing for the next 5 days is I'm taking everything I've learned in the last 20 years of trying to improve, of working to improve myself, and I'm giving it all away. So I've spent tens of thousands of dollars including signing up for courses and for coaching and for other types of support. Sometimes it's mental, right? Sometimes it's body related, and I'm giving all that away. So 20 years and tens of thousands of dollars of my own after tax money that I've spent working to improve myself, to get me to the point where I am today in my level of sense of agency and sense of ability to do things, to make things happen, to even basic things like being more productive at work, improving my relationships with people, with my wife, with my kids, right? So I've done all this different work in different areas of my life, and I'm very happy to go ahead and help anybody out who wants some help. Um, what's really cool is that last week I got the idea in my head that I should look up a radio show, a radio advice show that I used to listen to in the '90s when I was in high school, called Loveline, and it went on for probably 10 years after that. But um, that was one of the first pieces of media, or first things that I ever consumed that actually thought, "Hey, wow, this is really important. I would love to do something like this, or I would love to help people like that." And it's taken me a long time to sort of admit that that's what I actually want to do. I just want to help people, right? Um, although I work in technology, I work in design, and a lot of that stuff is like a lot of fun. But a clue that it wasn't really my thing is that at the end of the day, if I wasn't doing very specific, high flow activities, if I was doing a lot of administrative activities, going to a lot of meetings, then I end up being uh, tired, and like you drained. So there's a lot going on there, and we're gonna get into all this. I think the best way for me is just to come on and treat it like a talk show, and let the calls come in, so to speak. So in this coaching session, this coach, his name was Kevin Fournier. I think he's French, and what he did was he tweaked my business model. My initial model was like, or my content model was like, oh, I'm like a live streamer. I go on and I just be on for hours, um, and I'm constantly, almost like performing, producing content for people. But if you're a talk show, you don't have to have anything penciled out. You don't have to have any notes. You don't have to do any preparation. The main part of it is the time slot. Is this person is available to talk to from this slot to that slot, almost like a counseling hotline or a coaching hotline, or an advice hotline, right? And maybe you guys on the internet, who grew up with the internet, don't have as much experience with those types of shows, but they can be important parts of people's lives. Loveline was really important for me when I was in high school, because I had very little experience outside of my classroom, right? And I learned about the cities in my area. I learned about the various age ranges and different issues people are dealing with. To me, it was amazing to like discover what people all around me are dealing with, the depth of distress and addiction and abuse people were dealing with. And I would love to help people in that same way. I would love to almost like revive a love line in my own way, with my own philosophy and perspective, and a way that I think, because it would be different from Loveline for obvious reasons if you go and watch the show. if you go and listen to the show. I found some archives last week. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be on for the next hour, and we don't even have to talk about anything. I'm just going to be here. And that was one of the keys that got me back was, well, what if it's just me getting online at 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. And I said, oh, I can do that. That's that's easy. And so instantly that block was removed because I was placing, and we all do this. We place criteria, we place judgments, have tos, should, supposed to be like on top of actions. And then we're surprised when the thing that we want to do ends up not happening. For example, say for example you want to travel to. So I'm in Oregon. You want to travel to from Oregon to Texas. Okay. Um, if you simply got into your car and started driving and stopping to get gas, eventually you'd get to Texas, right? And I think Texas takes like a whole day of driving to get there, almost like 20 something hours. But what happens is what we do, and this is not anybody's fault. It's just a result of judgments that we pick up along the way in our life that at one point served us and kept us safe and actually helped us, but now are no longer serving us because they're actually getting in the way, right? When you were 10, it was helpful. When you're 40 or 30 or 20, maybe not so helpful. So let's keep the example of driving to Texas. If I say, "Well, I have to rent a car to do it. I don't have money to rent a car. I have to wait till I have some money to rent a car. I don't want to pay for the gas." Okay, can you find somebody who can pay for the gas? Can you find somebody who needs to get to Texas? Right? Can you? We have to drive during the day. So that's another judgment. You know, doing this cross country drives, you're supposed to do it during the day, right? And but if you go out on the 10, you'll find all kind of people driving throughout the night, 3 p.m., 4 p.m. One of my friends, he's a truck driver, and he's gone for days, and so things like that. It has to be like this. It must be like this. I already have to have a hotel booked, right? I have to know exactly where I'm going. But if you just decided, my criteria for driving to Texas is I am driving to El Paso, San Antonio, and then I'm turning around and I am driving back. If you can decide the right criteria, and if you removed all the shoulds and have tos and musts and it has to be like this, it has to work like this, it has to happen this way, it has to happen this way, or doesn't count. And you have the whole list of it has to happen this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. And what that is a story that we create in our mind of something in the future and how it's going to go down. Instead of saying, I just want to do X. I just want to do X, right? Without all the things added to it. How can I do it? How can I do it? What can I do? What can I do? I was actually reading the story right now called the 333 story, and it's by Bob Proctor. And if I may actually read this, if nobody comes on the comments, I'm gonna check. So let's check and see. Check and see. All right, no one is on comments yet. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on my mind map. All right. So here's the idea behind the talk show model. The talk show model I'm gonna play with for the next week is like uh, advice. advice talk show, right? I can decide that people just come into the comments and raise their hand. Now, I can decide what raising uh, their hand means, right? If I want to make things hard for myself, I can say they have to uh, they have to go to a link and subscribe to an email list, right? Or they have to pay money. They have to pay a dollar, pay a dollar, right? So this is a negative example. Don't go do this. But if I want to make it hard, I could say they have to go to a link and subscribe. They have to pay a dollar, right? They have to say a certain word, or else I won't talk to them. And then you get a glut of people spamming you, and you'll wonder what's wrong. They have to say a certain word, right? Um, or you can, uh, let's see, let's do easy. Click a link. Click a link. Post a comment. Right? Who does this a lot? Scott Adams. So when you hit on an example, what you do is you go back and say, okay, let's see how let's watch some Scott Adams and see how he does it. What he does is he goes on and he has an agenda. He's going to talk about a couple of things, but he's really constantly monitoring chat and he is answering questions and talking to people. There's a couple other online uh, regular shows that do the same thing, right? So now I've hit on a model. See that? So people come into the chat and raise their hands, and I help them with. Now another thing, if I wanted to make it hard, I I can constrain it, right? So this is really about constraints. I'm gonna write this down. Constraints, concepts, uh, constraints, right? Make it hard, make it easy. Check comments again. No comments. All right. Make it hard, make it easy. If I wanted to make this hard for myself, I could say I help them with professional things, professional issues. What that does is it anybody who has either a relationship or some other issue, they're going to come on. If my goal, okay, I didn't mention this. What I went to the coach to Kevin is what I told him is I want to be in dialogue with as many people as possible. Right? I want to be in dialogue with as many people as possible. So how I make it hard here is I say I can only talk about certain issues, relationship issues only, for example, right? Or I can say ask me anything, right? And I don't have to answer every question. I can say I don't know, right? So this is an example of how human beings we make things easy or hard on ourselves, and then what we do is that um, we start blaming the world and blaming other people. We'll go to um, company to company to company, having the same fallout, and then we blame the company, uh, not realizing that the common denominator in all those companies was us in those that got ourselves into those spots, right? So we have constraints. So we have um, We create most of our own problems, most of our own blockers. Okay, because I'm kind of focusing on the work on what I'm trying to do, which is get things done. You know, hold on, I'm gonna update this. I don't like this. So again, guys, if you just tuned in, I'm helping anybody with anything. Um, and if you want to come on and you need some help with anything, let me know. I'm a brainstorming genius, and not bragging. That's just true. And and you can come on, and I can help you with whatever you want to create in your life right now. All right. Concepts. We create most of our blockers. What was I going to say then? What was the other way I was going to say that? There's another thing I was going to say about this actually. Yeah, something I've heard Tony Robbins mentioned. Um, Sourcefulness is better than resources. Resourcefulness is an attitude and a mindset that says no matter how much resources I start out with, um, I can always figure out a way to get what I want. Okay, I'm gonna check the comments real quick. Private chat comments. All right, cool. Resources or resourcefulness. Okay, so now I'm gonna go quiet for a couple minutes because there was something that I wanted to mention that I hmm, that has slipped my mind. Oh, great. So the judgments only exist in our minds. We're basically trapped by our own minds. We're like the we're like the prisoner and the judge at the same time. You know, we are at the same time, right? Yeah, we are at the same time. Oh, another thing, we have to get free judgment in order to take more robust action, right? So what that means is on a spectrum, right? So the amount of freedom you get from judgments, from these constraints, from these have tos, from these supposed tos, has to be like this, has to be that way, right? It's on a spectrum, right? And so if you work on it over time, you get more and more free. But it's really not a sense of um, I am I am trapped by this thing in my mind, by this thought, and now I'm free, just instantly free. It's a muscle. You have to work on it, right? Right. So freedom from I'm calling these judgments because the first time I encountered these in a course, that's what they were calling them, judgments. I call them actually I should call it judgment. Spelling that right? Hold on. I'm checking my spelling on judgment. Okay. All right. Cool. Judgment should supposed let me zoom out. To to work like should look look or work like, right? So all these things, these are all made up. And a lot of this is about safety. So I'm gonna let's work on our little mind map for tonight. So these judgments, concepts, um, the child cares about safety, safety and security from parents, right? This is from parents. What's going on is at some point we use these as a cope. Coping is not a bad word. People use that in social media. It's not a bad word. Um, it just means ways that you are able to deal with um, with stressors and with issues. That's not bad. Coping is not bad. All right, concepts. So what I'm saying is, a lot of these things at a certain point in our lives were mechanisms that kept us safe, and a lot of our how we conceive of safety um, is being in the good graces of authority, usually our mother and father, right? So sometimes there can be disruptions in that where we experience behavior from people in authority, and that causes us to take on certain judgments. We take on judgments in other ways, but very often the ones that are really like nagging us that are so close we can't really see it because it's like right here, and every time you try to move, it moves with you, right? But what sitting down and journaling and working through this stuff over time and with other people by yourself and other people is that you can now get some enough distance of it so that you can see it. And there's various ways um, of how you distance yourselves from them or get free from them. Um, and that, again, that's something that I help anybody with. Anybody who wants to come on. Hoping by the end of the week I get at least one person to come on. But what's helping me is I don't have to expect anybody to actually come on at this point, right? And that's one of the things that Kevin helped me with is, well, what if you just got on and just looked at the camera for an hour, right? And so that got me into the gym, so to speak. And that's something I learned from Scott Adams is, and and again, it's funny because once you get the idea, you're like, yeah, I know that idea. I was using it in another part of my life and I did not transfer it over. So I was using this in the gym. I'll tell you a really funny gym story. So I started going to the gym using Scott Adams' idea of just show up. So I'm doing the just show up thing, right? Um, I'm doing that right now. He said, just show up to the gym, and if you don't feel like working out, then leave. But don't focus on when I go to the gym, I have to get this long list of exercises done. If you're trying to get yourself to go to the gym, just go to the gym, and you can decide whether or not you want to work out later. But what's cool is that you always end up working out. I think I may have left the gym like once, but all the other times um, you end up working out, right? So I'm doing the same thing with this talk show idea. I said, I'm just going to show up um, and be on for half an hour. And I don't even have to say anything. So I took the criteria. I sh- we shrunk the criteria all the way down to a point where you can now just you can see it and put your hand on it. Because sometimes what we do and what I'm talking about here is we make it so hard that we make the thing so big it blocks out the horizon and we can't even see at that point. We can't see around it. But if we can get it small enough that can now grab onto it, something really miraculous happens, and it helps you take almost like instant action on the thing and actually think about it better, right? So my criteria was just come online for uh, 30 minutes, um, and that's it. I don't have to say or do anything. Don't need anyone to come online because again I'm a talk show, so I'm on the radio, so to speak, at this time slot, whether or not you tune in. So that is part of the shift that happened in my head, right? Because eventually, yeah, I will have too many calls, but there's a point when somebody launches something and nobody shows up, and that's okay. That's okay because the 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 idea about ourselves, what we say about ourselves, what we say who we are, uh, doing the action tells us about who we are. So I'm gonna write that down again. What I do tells me about who I am, and so I can say that. If I bring that up here, I can give advice. I can ask. I can I can answer questions. I can curate for people. Right? I can say, hey, you should read this book, and I may save you years of your life just by uh, recommending one book to you. The same way I've gotten years of my life back by reading one book that just changed everything for me. Right? I can give my advice. I can just listen. So I'm at the point where I can just listen, and my listening can be a gift in and of itself. My goal is to have those types of calls where if you just want to come on an event or you just want to complain, um, I'm a really good listener. People tell me I'm a good listener, and it's really funny because I used to spend a lot of time studying people, right? And I used to like for half my life I struggled with stuttering, and so I spent a lot of time being quiet. And when you spend a lot of time being quiet, you spend a lot more time paying attention to and listening to other people because other people are going to be talking, and you're just listening and like smiling, right? And then people will say, "Wow, you're a good listener," right? Really, what it's like is I don't want to talk, but over time, you actually do become a good listener, right? Um, I'm gonna check again if there are any comments. Again, I'm gonna come on Monday through Friday this week, and then I think I may switch to the Love Line format, which is like Sunday night through Thursday night. And it'd be cool if I even use the exact same time slot that that I from when I was listening when I was in high school, which is 10 uh 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. That was my like bedtime listening. All right, let's close this. Let's close that. And here we go. All right. Let's see what else can I add to this um, to this to the mind map. And if you guys want the mind map, just ping me. The best thing to do is connect with me on LinkedIn. I think there's a way I can actually do that here too. I can put like a little banner. Let me see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. On this StreamYard app is really cool. You can put up graphics. You can put music up. I'm gonna actually add this banner. See how that works. Okay, show. There it is. Yeah, and you can. I'm gonna edit that. You can book a call with me, or you can just ping me on LinkedIn, and you can even ask me questions on LinkedIn. Right. So I'm still working on the what the tagline or the header for my talk show is, or for my talk show or advice show. I think it's really like a hybrid because I want to coach people, but I want to work live with people. Um, so click show. All right, I'm just gonna leave that up. All right. So if you want, just ping me on LinkedIn, and we can continue from there. Let's see. Is somebody ping me on LinkedIn? No, that's an older comment. That's an older comment. Cool. All right. Maybe I should brainstorm that right now. Actually, no. I think I'm just gonna sit here and wait and to see if anybody comes on. Easy. Post some destinations. Okay. So there's another link I'm gonna put up. This is the link to actually come on to StreamYard. Let's see. Let's see what happens if I do that. Oh, okay. So that's the StreamYard link. All right. So if you want to come on the StreamYard, you can come on live with me, um, and we can work on things. Okay. And I had one example that I wanted to mention. Let's see if I can look this up. Hugh Howey. I think it's Hugh Howey. Hugh Howey. Great. Hugh Howey. I think Apple TV has his show called Wool. He has a book series called Wool, um, that got very big on Amazon Kindle. So Hugh Howey is a science fiction author. Yeah, Wool, Wool, and then there's another series called Sand. He has more books than that. Um, lives on a boat. Used to work as a, I think like a ship. Used to work on a ship. I don't know what his role was, but he was some type of like sailor. All right. So the cool thing about Hugh Howey is that if you look up wool now, you will see. Let me actually look it up for you. I'll actually show you. It's better if I show you. Amazon. All right, and then we'll end with this. Let's see. All departments. All right. He really does have one of the best examples of how you build up an audience and build something up from nothing. Because what he did was he uh, he started selling what is currently the Wool book series or the Silo series, right? Um, one chapter at a time on Amazon Kindle, right? So what he did was his model was release one chapter at a time. So what this does, uh, this does a couple things. So what it does is it makes it easy to almost like taste test and an idea, because all the buyer has to do, is pay something like $1 for that chapter instead of spending $10 and deciding that they don't like the book. So you pay $10 pay $1 uh, for a chapter, right? And then if enough people buy it, I mean, it's like Kickstarter. If enough people buy it, you write another chapter. And so you can see how you can build up a project thinking like this, shrink it down. So do exactly what he's doing, but you apply it to things. Apply it to things. Backwards engineer what he did and apply it to things. Shrink it down to another chapter. And then, so what he's doing is use um, use response as like a feedback mechanism, like a feedback loop. So I will write another chapter if 5 people buy it, right? Or you could say, I don't care who buys it. I'm just gonna release it chapter by chapter so that I can physically see that I have a chapter published. So what you do is you have to you decide what the feedback is. So you can use responses. You can use having it on Kindle store, right? So your feedback could be, okay, great. I have a chapter. It's up on the Kindle store. That's my goal, to have it on the Kindle store, and I'm just gonna not care about, oh, it's not a real book unless people read it, unless people like it. Your goal was to publish a book. If your goal is to publish a book, it doesn't matter who's going to read it. Your goal is to publish a book. But if you say it has to be a bestseller, it has to be in the bookstores, it has to be available, I have to have an audiobook of it. Can you see how you are putting blockers in front of what you are trying to build? And what that does is that kills momentum. It kills momentum. We're trying to peel back the onion, however you want to say it. Peel back the onion, shrink it down, get to the next list, get to the next activity. Whatever I want to do that gets me to the next activity, right? I don't I don't have to. Oh, and I'm going to explain to you what happened to me at the gym. So why I stopped going to the gym. So here's what happens. One day I go in, one of the personal trainers, I ask him, "Hey man, can you give me a routine?" So he texted me this really difficult, like almost like 6 days a week routine, right? That was several times larger than the amount of working out I was already doing, but I was working out, and I was just getting back into the habit of going back to the gym. My attendance, when he sent me that list, dropped off because I tried his workout once and I got completely worn out by it, right? And so my attendance tanked. And then I didn't go back to the gym for weeks until I sat down and thought, what happened? What happened? And I realized, I took I took on a judgment, somebody else's judgment of what a workout is, what an adequate workout is. And you may say, yeah, but if your goal is to lose X amount of pounds, that's how much you have to do. Okay, fine. But if what's better, working out or not working out at all? Yeah, but you should, and so you can see how we are putting a judgment on what we're talking about right now. Yeah, but you should be able to. Yeah, but you should be able to, right? This is part of why discipline is nonsense, right? If you don't want to do something, you won't do it. It's very simple. You know, you may think you do, but deep down you actually don't. If you're being, you know, peeling back the onion all the way and being completely honest, right? So releasing one chapter at a time is an easy way to test an idea. Pay, readers, 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 readers pay $1 for a chapter per chapter. Right? Then, if enough people buy it, I'll write another chapter. All right. But all I'm trying to do is get to the next action. What is the next action? If the next action is, oh, if I successfully got it up on the Kindle store, I get to go to the next action. And so you can see how you can write your entire book that way because you aren't concerned with responses or customer customer reviews. You aren't worried about acclaim. You have to get from 0 to 1. You have to get going in the first place. What a lot of us do, and I'm saying this in various different ways, so that if you aren't familiar with a lot of these psychology or coaching concepts, you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. Is that if you have to have a claim, for example, well, you don't have anything. You don't have anything yet. So first, we have sometimes we have to gear shift, right? Sometimes we'll stop, or sometimes we'll begin an action in the wrong gear. The same way if you begin driving your car in like fifth gear, you can do that. Technically, you can do that. It's just it's more it takes more time for you to build up momentum, right? Whereas if you just did first and the second and third, and when you get good at driving manual, you can jump from first to third if you want, right? But when you get good, we're trying to get something done, not be good, not be expert, not be Oscar level, not be Grammy level. We, having a Grammy begins with A, B, C, B, D, or sorry, C, D, E, F, right? I have to start with, I have to learn how to play the piano first before I can do anything. But if your criteria is, oh, I have to be like um, that Grammy award winning singer or something, oh, yeah, I can't do that. And then you get demoralized. So another concept I have is the demoralization curve. And I should actually, man, I need to just draw it out one day for you guys. Demoralization curve. And video games are really good at this. Video games are really good at this, keeping it hard enough where it keeps you interesting. It keeps the game interesting, hard enough to be interesting. Okay, hard enough to be interesting, easy enough to not get uh, demoralized, right? So the happy zone is like in the middle, in the middle. And you can have temporary, this is general, you can have a temporary dips and rises, right? But in general, the hard and easy zone needs to be like this. This is hard and this is easy, right? Um, am I going, let's see if my model or if my audio or if my video is showing properly. Yeah, it is showing properly, right? So here's the um, hard, and this is easy, right? So you want to keep people inside here, hard and easy. You want to keep people inside here. You don't want them to go down here because they get bored, and if they go through here, they get demoralized, right? Happy zone is in the middle, right? I take all these notes because I'm working on a book of my own, and so I need to know what diagrams to make, and it helps me figure out what chapters, right? All right, so back to Hugh Howey. So what he did was he created a feedback loop for himself where the feedback is just it's on Kindle. It's on Kindle. And if it's on Kindle, then I get to go to the next action and that's it. Right? Easy. And loop. And I can just loop from there. Cool. Okay. So I'm going to mention what I said before. I am committing to coming online for a week, 1 hour. I think this week I'm going to do Monday through Friday, and then the weekend I'm done. I can reevaluate what I want to do next week. Easy. And we've been talking about how we get one of the things judgments. One of the things that puts us in a rut where we feel like our minds are working against us. The moment we set out to do something, we get distracted. It's almost like if I didn't set out to do it, the distraction wouldn't even happen, right? So there's some um, there's some work we can do with our minds to get back into action. So what I really want to do is I want to help people get back into action because that's my main struggle is with everything is taking action and getting back into action, right? After getting thrown off by one or more judgments, right? Or having the model wrong altogether, like I did with going to the gym. I was doing fine because my model was, or my goal was, just go to the um, goal. The goal was just go to the gym, just go inside, walk inside, drive there and walk inside, and that's it. Not even get dressed for the gym. And sometimes I didn't get dressed. Sometimes I had my work clothes on. I would go to the gym and then I actually work out in my work clothes, right? Um, yeah, I think we're done, guys. I think we're done. So this is one in the can, and I'll see you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Um, tomorrow night. All right. Take care. Bye.